Good morning. Faders needs to be open and then we can start. Good morning.
Hey, hello.
Workplace NIA Belgium.
Here we are.
Here we go. We have a nice banner in the background. So it's June 4th.
Yep.
Yeah, June 4th, Thursday. And we are in Belgium with the Workplace NIA. They have a very nice event here in the center of Antwerp. And as you hear in the background, a bit of noise because we're on the venue and we will have some conversations with people over here. And Peter, my name is Frans Houdender, you are Peter Dalmans.
Yes, that's me.
And we are both from the NIA Summit. And we help the Workplace NIA Belgium organization to record some stuff, to publish it afterwards, to do some.
Hopefully some nice conversations with some speakers.
I cannot promise that.
No? Oh.
No, but yeah, we know if we have Rudy in the recording, then most of the times...
It depends.
Yeah.
It depends on the topic. It depends on the people.
But we are recording with some speakers around the topics that they are presenting. And today the first recording is with Rudy Ooms and Jens, duFour. So, small introduction from your side. Rudy, let's start.
Well, I'm Rudy Ooms. I'm working for Patch My PC these days as Technical Product Marketing Manager instead of Content Creator, so that's way better.
Yeah.
Sounds also a little bit better as well. And it's on the 4th of June, and it's also my birthday today, so it's...
So, happy birthday. So let's sing. No. We don't sing a song.
You're not going to sing for me?
No.
That's a shame. Well, most of the time I write stuff about Microsoft, Intune, and everything related, and I think that's also the reason why I'm sitting here next to somebody from Microsoft as well.
Yeah.
Jens, small introduction from your side.
It's always dangerous to be Microsoft and sit next to Rudy because he will ask questions I can't answer. But I'm Jens duFour. I'm based in Belgium, but I'm a cloud endpoint solution engineer at Microsoft. So I focus mainly on everything that we would put into the end-user compute area, so Intune Suite, which will just be Intune in a little bit, and then everything related to virtualization. And still having fun with it, almost 5 years now, so...
Still going strong.
Still going, I hope. Let's see in July.
It's always a challenge if you are talking with Microsoft people and ending of the fiscal year and some positions in between. Can happen really a lot. But let's stick to the topic. To start, you already mentioned a bit of licenses. We dive into that in a few seconds. But first, EPM, Endpoint Privilege Management. What is it exactly? What can I do with it?
I think Endpoint Privilege Management, fairly simple. It's a tool to make sure you no longer have local administrators in your organization.
Well, you don't need local administrators anymore.
Yes.
If you use EPM.
Yeah, exactly. But it's the Microsoft way of doing that, where you can have default policies, rule policies, and basically you say, these are the rules we play by, and if you want to do these kinds of elevation, we're fine with it, and they're managed then, and we remove the need for unmanaged elevation, so you no longer need local administrators.
So EPM is the perfect solution when you want to get rid of your admins.
Yeah.
But when it was first released, there were some issues. Well, some
features.
Yeah, future incomplete, I like to call it. What do you think of the virtual account that's finally be fixed? So you don't need the virtual account to offer, that it no longer uses the virtual account for elevation, but it uses the same user standard account for elevation, which fixes a lot of issues with licensing, registry keys, user profile issues, and with the standard account feature, it's way better now.
Yes.
That was really, really missing in the beginning.
But I think it's also one of these things that when I was working with customers, either they never noticed it, or they hit a brick wall.
Yeah.
It was not like, oh, it would be nice if this or that. Either it was like, oh, it was working
or not working.
Yeah, and if it wasn't working, it was horrendous.
Yeah.
But overall, the idea and how the product is today, I think it's a benefit or a solution any company should look at in some way or form.
Why are so many customers of organizations still hanging on local admin if they want to have privileged?
Even Microsoft was using local admin accounts back in the day before EPM was there.
Yeah.
Is it now within Microsoft broadly rolled out and nobody is local admin anymore?
They heated to prot.
I wouldn't say nobody because I don't have that view, but overall they're much more strict on it, which again makes sense. I think mainly why companies were still working with local administrators, it was historically.
Yeah.
Like you had two profiles, you had your standard user that didn't need it, and they were like, in the past IT, they would ask something to IT, and IT would just be like, no, you can't. While then you had the other side of the pond where you had people that you couldn't say no to. Developers, big group
Removing
of them.
admin rights for developers is like asking for trouble, asking for a lot of tickets, asking for people getting angry.
Yeah, it's like taking candy from a baby, eh?
Yeah, they will get angry.
Yeah.
Especially since if you, and that's my experience with it, if you ask someone, hey, do you need this? You know your answer. If you have to ask, you know it will be yes.
It's always yes. I need it. I really need it. Why? I don't know, but I need it.
And that's the fun thing with EPM as well, that you can like monitor what type and what
actually
amount
do,
of unmanaged elevations are happening. So you can just see like, oh, you need this, and to you this was this huge thing, but you never use it, even though you have the rights.
You never opened that executable. You never at least touched it. So the reporting is very fun to see, and then go back to the customer and telling them, are you sure you need it? Because you never try to open it, at least not once.
Yeah, and it's all about the discussion, right? And I have one customer who basically said, okay, I'm done with the discussion. You can have local admin rights, you're a developer, but you're not allowed to touch production data from your developer workstation. And then they said,
That makes sense as well.
yeah, but then
How do you enforce that?
yeah, it's just conditional access.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But then again, you need to create stuff as a developer, but you're not allowed to reach the data, the corporate data.
But that's
No, at least not production
Oh,
data.
yeah, okay.
Then you need to make sure that you have some kind of dev data available.
Yeah, and in an ideal world, your non-production and your production, they're mirrored.
Yeah.
But that's an ideal world.
Yeah, you say it correctly. That's the ideal world.
If everything was perfect, that would be the case, but it seldom is.
Yeah. And it's also when using Intune nowadays, we don't have a dev Intune. It's like testing in production, right, with rings and so on and so forth. So, yeah.
True.
Testing in production. Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Heat it to pot, see what happens.
The screen test.
Yeah.
So when you replace the standing admin permissions with EPM, what changes are there for the user? What's different for them normally? Because we know we have normally you can do everything. What limits do they have, or maybe what capabilities do they have now which they haven't had before?
Well, in my opinion, if the user is a standard user, she cannot install anything. And with EPM, they can automatically use support approved functionality. And if they really need an application, the user can just right-click on the application, ask for EPM elevation, and then using support approved, she can send that information to the Intune service, and from there on the IT admin can maybe be notified with
we'll talk
additional
about
tooling in place. And you have a session about it, I think.
Yeah.
So, and with it, the IT admin can approve the application, and within a couple of minutes, she can use that application, which normally, or install that application, which normally that standard user wouldn't be able to do if the user was a standard user.
Yeah, it's like I always compare it when I do these type of sessions on EPM with if you're local admin, then you just have like the keys to the castle. You get one key and it opens the front door, the back door, all doors, all rooms, everything's possible. While user A might be needed to get into the bedroom, the bathroom, and the basement, but they don't need to be in the attic. So why would you give them a key to the attic? And that's what EPM, you're kind of finding that middle ground where you allow them to with certain rules in place. In my opinion, when you explain this to users, I think the main hurdle they have to go on, they're so used to just like right-click run as administrator, while with EPM you add this run with elevated access button, and it changes a bit the flow. That might be a hurdle, especially in the beginning when you are capturing all the data and you're just giving them like both processes to follow. But once they get a hang of that, I think it's quite all right.
But you can also create a rule-wide that you do an automatic elevation for just
and then it's actually less frictionless than a run as
double-click the
administrator.
process, and you don't even see that you are running EPM in the background.
Yes, but I do think that's dangerous because having that ask for user input to me is important, just so even though they're allowed to, they're aware that this is not the default action.
Yeah.
Even if you have the rules in place and you're allowed to do certain elevations, that should not be default behavior.
And maybe also asking for an additional authentication prompt,
yeah,
at least.
Yeah.
That people are aware, okay, I'm using this executable or installing this application which normally is not allowed, and I need to use EPM for that, and once I start using EPM for that, I need to perform authentication again.
Yeah, I've known from previous jobs and things I've done that like some applications, they're like, oh, it doesn't work that well, but just open it as an admin and it will work. That should not be the default action.
No.
And it's good to have like that hurdle in place just so they confront it with it.
Maybe to start from an auditing perspective, it's good, and if you limit it down afterwards, then definitely everything should be in place. Yeah. But are there limitations? Because if I run with elevated access an installer, for example, and that installer calls out other software that needs to be installed, .NET, whatever. Is that possible? Does that work? Are there limitations?
It works. That's the Microsoft answer. Yes.
Yes, it works. But you need to.
So you have a couple of options there. You can say everything that a process starts as a child process, we allow it to run elevated. That's frictionless and that works perfectly fine. However, then you have the risk if you say an installer and you get this option to like, where do you want to install this? You click browse and you go to CMD. You can open CMD as an admin because that's a child
process just to be opened.
What we do by default is that we give that option where we say every child elevation also needs to have a rule in place, which in my opinion makes much more sense. However, that adds a workload.
Talking about rules, what makes a good rule design, elevation rule design? Because if you have thousands of apps you whitelist, then you get thousands of rules. Is there a general rule of thumb that you advise customers? Maybe everything is deny all unless requires support approved, or
I believe the support approved function is the best way to do it, because you do not want to allow everything.
No, definitely not.
But you also don't want to deny everything, because then you have to actively monitor everything that flows in, and
exactly,
we know
but
that doesn't happen.
Then again, a standard user doesn't need EPM for every single process.
True.
Only when she needs to install something or needs to run something which is not available from the company portal, then you need EPM, but that's not for everything. And if they want to use it, then you got support approved. And with support approved, everyone can request an application to be installed.
And then on the rules, I think your rule in EPM, it's a description of what you allow in your environment. As with anything you describe in life, the more specified you are, the better and easier it is to spot if that's really the thing you want to do. If you just say, and there are limitations to that because we have like a base level of security in the tool, but if you just say, we allow you to run everything that is setup.exe, that's very fun. Renaming a file, I think, it should be possible to anyone that has ever used a computer. So there are risks with that. So
then you can add a file hash to the rule to allow only that executable to be opened if that has that file hash in place. But that also, in my opinion, can be a limitation because if the app is being updated,
and you see that a lot. Yeah, you see that a lot in the Microsoft of Windows. I, for instance, have as a test CMD.exe, and every time it's updated, then
you need to change it.
Support approved again. And,
So it's something good that you have that in place, the file hash, but it could be a limitation for some processes.
But
Then we
like
come
you
to
said,
certificates.
certificates.
Which is, I think, the better way, and I liked it a lot that Microsoft at the beginning said we're going to have a library where you can put your certificates, so you don't have to update each and every rule policy set
was
and the
nice.
rules within it, and so now you can just like upload publisher certificate, certificate authority certificate, and when they expire or when they change, you just upload them there, and we'll take care of the rest. And I think that was a great addition.
A lot of great additions have been made to EPM in the last couple of years.
Yep, definitely. What about the certain Windows settings that we have? So probably you want to allow users to change some stuff on your Windows endpoint, like language settings and that kind of stuff.
Normally, the control panel settings don't require elevation, but some of the stuff, for example, network settings, require administrator permissions to change those things. And I know that EPM has some limitations in place because you cannot elevate Windows settings because Windows is designed in a way that EPM cannot elevate those processes. But that's one of the biggest limitations that are today with EPM.
Is there something that is worked on that you guys know? Okay.
I'm getting looks, but
I don't know.
Well,
it's a discussion that I think has been ongoing within Microsoft, but also customers for the past years. The simple example I often see is we have this computer and there's a specific device attached to it, but sometimes the COM port changes and we can't do that unless we have the necessary rights to it. That's one that I had a lot. We'll see. I do believe that somewhere in the future this would be a worthy addition, but I don't know what the current status is.
So everyone knows that it has some limitations, and that there will probably in the near future something. I don't know,
but I think I can already talk about it because at another event, Sengi was already showing what is coming for EPM. So network settings, language settings.
There will be.
Not language settings, the clock settings, that kind of stuff that can finally be elevated with EPM. So, Niaus told me, Rudy, you're not reverse engineering code anymore, you're investing in code. So, I need to change my language sometimes, but, well, if you just look at the EPM code, so I'm finally allowed to say it because I'm not in a private preview of EPM, so I don't have any NDA about EPM because I'm not in private previews, but if you look at the EPM code today, there is a final flight going on that you can finally start using EPM to elevate network settings. So a standard user can now finally use EPM to elevate the network settings, which is perfect in my opinion, because a lot of devs need to change the network settings
Sometimes. Yeah.
Sometimes.
Not only developers. I'm working for one of the MSPs here in the Netherlands. We have some network engineers that need to do stuff on network devices to.
It's funny you word it like that. They need to do stuff, but that's also how we get the information. And why do you need those rights?
Because we need to do stuff.
But it's their job to configure network devices before they are in production. So they need to configure that kind of network devices. But and if you are limited to that, and we are facing some issues with that, not only with EPM, but also with the use of USBs, for example. But if you block USBs, then it would be nice if you can elevate the rights to override the USB block, so they can create a USB stick to firmware upgrade a network device and that kind of tasks that they need
to do that job. So
but licenses, you talked already a bit on licenses, and I think it's now 4th of June, and I think 1st of July or beginning of July, the licenses around Intune Suite E5, E3 will be changed, and that's also related for EPM.
Yeah.
What is that?
So basically, Intune became very complicated licensing-wise at some point. We
Yeah,
had Intune
just a bit.
P1, P2, we had Intune Suite, where lives what do you need for which task. We're actually following the same structure we've always been following in my head. Like E3 will include the modern workplace, digital workplace tools of Intune Suite, while E5 will have the additional security tooling of Intune Suite. And that will roll out, I think they're saying over summer now.
Yeah, until half of August.
Yeah,
I think.
that's-
Yeah.
But that
something like
has
that.
been updated.
Yeah.
But EPM and what is it? That will be part of E5.
Yeah.
And remote help, advanced analytics, that will be part of E3.
Yeah, exactly. And you mentioned, I think it's Cloud PKI that will be
Cloud
five.
PKI, yeah.
And EAM.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah,
That's
Asset
asset
management.
management.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I presented that on 3 days ago or something. I missed it completely. Oops. But yeah, so a lot of extra functionality on top of Intune that will be part of E5. So the security stuff and the normal, that you really need in your day job, like advanced analytics for device query. You need that kind of data.
Yeah.
So that will be an E3, so most of the customers can use that, but a lot of customers have E5 and they can benefit from the use of EPM in the upcoming.
Which is a great addition, in my opinion, to the E5 license.
Yeah,
That was really missing.
Yeah.
I'm also excited to see, because a lot of customers, when we announced Intune Suite a couple of years ago, they were like, we want this, but we don't want to pay for it.
Yeah.
Now they're going to get it, do something with it.
And they still pay for
It
it
will drive
a little bit.
adoption.
I have to be neutral on that.
Yeah, but do you think with this availability within E5 that the adoption of EPM especially will that be growing in the upcoming months, in your opinion?
Yes.
I hope it will.
Yeah.
But I don't think it will be like
Massive.
automatically.
No.
I think we'll have a lot more customers coming back to us like, hey, this is new, what can we do with it? And then we'll still have to help them along the way because it's fairly unknown, I think.
Yeah, because it was in the Intune suite
Yeah.
and nobody wanted to pay for the Intune suite. So, and now they can finally start using it. And so, I think I had my first session about EPM like 2-3 years ago, and I was asking who is using EPM or who has a license for Intune suite. Nobody raised their hands. I'm like, okay, anyone knows about EPM? Nobody raised their hand. I'm like, oh, that's going to be a fun session because nobody knows what I'm going to talk about.
You always trickle down and like, do you know APM? No. Okay, have you seen it in Intune? It's there. You can.
No, it's behind the license, and we don't have that license. And then I'm like, okay, there goes my session.
Yeah. But talking about session, Jens, your session is about EPM.
Yeah.
What is the main message that you have for the audience regarding EPM and the stuff around it?
My session is about EPM because it's a problem I faced with EPM, where that today if you do support approved elevation, which should be the logical default.
It's
I
a
think.
logical step to do, but if you use support approved, some IT admin needs to be behind the Intune portal approving that message of that process.
There's no alerting, there's no mailing Teams
So
messages, you
normally,
just have to check.
what the user would do, he would send in a support approved EPM. Nothing is happening for hours. Then she will pick up the phone and contact support. And they were like, "Oh, did you fill in a support approved? Oh, I didn't see it."
And then that also poses the question: if you call into your first line, do they have access to approve
Most
or revoke
likely
it?
not.
Most likely
exactly,
not.
Exactly. So that's what my session is about a bit. Now, in a broader sense, I think it's an interesting session, not only about EPM, because we're going to talk about automation, using logic apps to use the Graph API to let it work for you. Because manual tasks bring friction, in my opinion. Also in terms of EPM, like if you have 10 support approved elevations, that's fine. You go through them, you look at the reasoning, you approve or revoke, you give your reasoning why you approve or revoke, and that's all fine. But if you have hundreds, thousands...
Yeah, the bigger the company, the more support approved notifications you can get.
Are you also looking at the security Copilot integration?
Yeah, so that's actually, I've had discussions internally on that, and they're also saying you should look at this with Security Copilot, which is great, and that's also going to come partly to E5, if I'm not wrong. And I think that will help, but still, you need to do a task with the agent, and the agent doesn't notify you that this needs to happen. So it kind of, my idea is that if you don't ask people to do something, it often doesn't happen. And there I think that automating that flow with the logic app, with the Teams message, with a mail, whatever floats your boat,
exactly.
works better.
Yeah.
That the IT admin or the person in charge gets a Teams notification. From there on, she can allow or decline the request.
Because what do you check most? Just me personally, do you check your Intune portal, or do you check your Teams messages?
Teams is always open.
Voilà.
Yeah, and if you're using Security Copilot, it's more reactive because you need to ask instead of being notified.
What happens then is you have this one guy on the team that's there. You're responsible for the support approved elevations. What he'll do at 4 p.m, he'll be like, okay, Security Copilot, what elevations came in today? How should I triage them? What should happen with them? And that's great, but you have to do it.
It can take like 6-7 hours before you start doing that. Yeah. And that's 7 hours of waiting for the person that requested that application, that needed that application within 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly, because in my head, once you request an application,
you wanted
it yesterday.
In 5 minutes at top. That reminds me of the delay that there was still in place with EPM. The moment somebody clicked on approve, that it took like 15 minutes.
But that's fine now.
Yeah, they fixed it, but it was insane that the moment EPM and support approved came along, that they added an additional 5 minutes or 10 minutes. I'm not sure how many minutes it was, but it was a delay added to that process. I'm like, okay, so you want to drive adoption for EPM, and now you're adding a delay. That's not how you drive adoption. No. But I'm glad to see that has been removed since March update or something. So,
but that's the goal, both of the tool and both of my session. I think these processes, if you want to change them with your end user, they should be frictionless.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it can be a great solution. Security will love you, but if it's not used, there's no point.
Yep.
And that's, I think, is the second slide of my session where I just thought, why would we do this? Because even if from an IT and from an enthusiast perspective, it can be great, but you need to have a why. That's where it all starts. Otherwise, and now it will come to E5, but otherwise, why would we spend money on it? That's the other question.
Yeah.
And Rudy, today you're also talking on the workplace Ninja. Is that together with Jens, or do you have a separate session?
I have a separate session with somebody from Robopack, which is funny.
I don't know. I don't know if that's funny.
Well, it started. Me and Nicholas Olsen started presenting together at MMS for the first time, but then he wasn't working for Robopack. But we continued to do sessions together, and so we have a session together at 3 p.m. or something like that. And the whole session is about don't yeet things to production. Test things, use deployment rings before you just deploy everything to all devices all at once on a Friday afternoon.
It's very funny you should mention that. It's a good message to bring.
Yeah, and I'm bringing some examples how Microsoft tried to do the same thing, but well, sometimes failed to do the same thing.
Yeah, but every organization has some challenges. So probably Microsoft as well.
Yeah, and the last couple of weeks were pretty funny, so I added some examples of what Microsoft released to production on a Friday, and while doing so, breaking the company portal, breaking other things as well. So I use some of those examples in my slides.
Yeah, but if they are using doing stuff on a Friday morning, it's our Friday afternoon. So if that hits Europe, then we have probably an issue. But they have a full weekend to solve that kind of stuff, because we are only starting working on Monday again.
And Europe is just one of the deployment rings.
Yeah, that's the test production. We deployed first in Australia, and from Australia we go to Europe, and if we don't hear any complaints, well, it's all fine. Let's move to the production to America. Yeah. So they use deployment rings somehow.
Yeah, and that's so never it will never happen that the full Intune environment or a Microsoft solution will getting down because of all the different regions that they have.
Did you hear the announcement that there will be a big maintenance window somewhere in America that they are going to shut down a whole Azure Scale unit for like 8 hours?
Oh no.
I think it's in the message center.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, so they have maintenance windows really applied to service and to their Azure Scale unit right now.
Yeah.
So maintenance windows is fun, but maintenance windows for an Azure Scale unit, going down for maintenance for 8 hours, I'm like,
That's fun.
okay, I'd never seen that.
So, what is the main message from your session to the audience?
Just think about before you do something. That's the main message. If you do something, check it, test it again, wait, test it again, and then deploy it to more devices, more users, not everything all at once.
No. And so I think we are running into the end of this conversation. Do you have anything left that you want to know?
Nope. I think we covered EPM
in a good way.
sense. Yep.
Yeah. Thank you for being here, Rudy, Jens. And if you are listening or viewing this session and you want to be here, unfortunately, this will become available after this event. But keep an eye on the socials of Workplace Ninja Belgium, WP Ninjas BE. Is the handle that they are using for almost every social media platform. So keep an eye. They have local meetups. They have probably another event next year. And if you want to be part of it, get your tickets at the moment that it will be available. And you can learn from the guys that are here on the table. So thank you guys for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
And if you want to know more, as I said, have a look at the socials, and we will keep you posted on a new recording that will be coming up in the upcoming weeks. Thank you.